You are listening to the CMC Podcast. Join us each week for messages designed to equip, inspire, and motivate. And now for today's message from Pastor Tim Brooks.
If you missed our performing arts ministry to this community, you really missed. The name of our church is Christian Ministries. And we're in the ministry here in many, many different avenues and different ways. Lindley and a team of, it's not countable, 60 plus actors. Well, you can count the actors on the stage, but there were many, many people, not only backstage during the performance, but there were many people that didn't have anything to do with it that just heard Lindley say, we need this, and they'd go to a yard sale, or we need that, and they'd go to a restore and buy stuff and bring down here and just dump in the hole. And Lindley would come and say, well, who brought this? Where'd that come from? People just show up and bring in stuff that they knew that she needed for the play. And I want to start by saying thank you for the ministry that we believe we're called to, and that is of keeping Jesus in Christmas. The ministry of that. For many of you, you came and you saw the production and you were very blessed. And I want you to know today that didn't just happen. And I want you to know today that our church was not lucky. Y'all are lucky to have something like that. My office is located right behind the stage. And although that is very handy, it is very distracting all the time, especially during play season. Lindley started talking to me a year or more ago about her concept and her idea of bringing back something and adding to it and doing what we were. She started talking about this over a year ago. For months, writing. Every single line that you heard, every line she wrote that had to be written and spelled out. The serious, the humor, the fun, the jokes, the whole thing. Some 4 months ago, she started meeting with her crew. One by one, I saw people start getting on board and catching the vision and getting excited about this. Some 3 months ago, rehearsals began. Those that were in it, many were not in it, but were working very, very hard for the last several months to make this happen. 2 months ago, just a fever pitch with practice, with work, with sewing. Man, we had people out here greeting, people passing out playbills, the costumes, people that had to iron the costumes. The list is endless of what all had to happen to make that take place. And as I watched all this happen, often I was sucked into, Dad, I need this, I need that. And I got sucked in myself to hammering and nailing. And I have no idea the countless trips I made to the hardware store. On many occasions, I would just come to watch practice, and I would want to sit in the back, and I would hear from the dark abyss, Dad. And one practice, I went to Walmart 3 times, and the lady said, oh, back again. I said, yeah, my daughter. And I rolled my eyes. I told her I should have jumped out of the hospital window when they told me it was a girl. And I thought over the last several weeks and months, this takes a lot of work. This takes a lot of work for just a 2-hour show. A lot of work. To have anything sharp, fun, good, takes a lot of work. The title of my message today, being inspired from what I've watched take place here over the last several months. The title of my message today is Life Takes Work. Life takes work. One of the major outreaches of this church is to have our performing arts department do what it does. And you've heard me share, and I'm well aware of this, that when you walk out the doors after hearing one of my sermons and somebody follow you to the car and tap on your window and say, what was the sermon about today? You would have a hard time coming up with one sentence about what it was about. Well, it was good. Well, what was it about? Well, We're soaking it in. We're soaking it in. And I've said this many, many times. If you ask me what did my wife fix for supper 30 years ago on this day, I don't know. What did she fix 2 weeks ago on this day? I don't know. But a lifetime of continual feeding myself, I'm healthy and well nourished. So although you may not remember the sermons, you're healthy and you're well nourished by a constant diet of coming to church and feeding yourself on the Word. But I do want to share the Word in a way from time to time that actors and lights and music and scenes created that put an impression in your mind that you don't walk away from, that you don't get out of your mind. When Mary, holding that baby, went to the cross and held up her hand, and the beam of those colored lights came down around her, I was affected deeply, and I won't forget that scene for a long, long time. That made an impression in my mind. But for the show, with an intermission, about 2 hours, as we sat, we loved it, we applauded, we laughed, and we were touched, and we got up and we went home. I just want to make you aware today is it took hundreds and hundreds of man hours of work, of money, of lots of money, of effort, for only a 2-hour event. And I watched last night as we were down here after this, all of this hauled off, all of this, half of it thrown away, part of it put back in the drama shed, and it was just, whoop, gone, over, all that hard work, and whoo. All of this has had an impact on me. All of this has had a real impact on me these last few weeks. Because you think, oh, wouldn't it be fun to have a Christmas play in our church? Wouldn't it be fun to even make a production out of it for our church? You know, people would come and they would see it, and people that get caught up in the hustle and bustle of Christmas and forget that it's about Jesus, we could minister to them, and that would just be so fun to do. Well, it would be fun to do. The point of the sermon today is, I got from watching all that's taken place here for the last couple of months, life takes a lot of work. Are you willing to work for what you envision to happen in your life? It's one thing to have a vision. It's one thing to say, "Oh, I'd love for our church to have a play." And it's one thing to have a vision of, "Oh, I wish I had a happy marriage or a fun time. I wish I had good kids. Well, I wish I had." It's one thing to have a vision for your life, but it's another thing to be willing. It's another thing to be willing to put forth the effort and the work and the money to cause to happen in your life what you envision to happen. It takes a lot of work. Take a family camping. It takes a whole lot of work to go on a vacation. It takes a lot of work to go to a connect group. It takes a whole lot of work for you to be involved in a church. You know, it takes a lot of work to have friends. It takes a lot of work to have a friend. Takes a lot of work to read the Bible on a daily basis. Life takes work, and too many are unwilling to put forth the effort. Our government is wanting to give us free food and free education and free this is going to be provided, and that we're going to give you free housing and free utilities. But you know, I've not heard anybody say what our government wants to do is pass out free fun, free happiness, free joy. Yet we're in a day and time where I'm going to sit here on my couch and give and do absolutely nothing, and I want happiness, and I want fun, and I want blessings, and I want enjoyment in my life. See, I'm going to sit here and give nothing to my church, nothing to my community. I'm going to do nothing for my family. I'm not going to put any effort toward my teenagers, but I want to. Life takes work. You won't be surprised that the Bible talks about this. We talk about this often in this church. If you haven't read the story lately of the deliverance from slavery out of Egypt and then the wandering in the desert and the entrance into the promised land, go back and read it. Numbers chapter 13. Read that if you haven't read it. I don't have time to read that today, but the Lord spoke to Moses and he said, send in Numbers chapter 13, verse 1, 2, 3, right along there. The Lord spoke to Moses and said, send in the spies and check out the land that I am giving you. God gave the promised land. We read over it way too fast. It's very interesting. God gave them the promised land, but they had to fight the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Jebusites, the Amorites. They had to fight and drive out the enemy for them to live in the land that had been already given to them. And I want you to know, as we celebrate the birth of Jesus, He's given you peace. He's given you joy. He's given you happiness. He's given you a blessed life. He's given you abundance. But you will have to drive out darkness out of your life for you to live in and possess what God has. And you can't sit here and wait on the government to bless you with a bunch of fun. You can't wait to get a check in the mail that you didn't work for and you have peace. They don't send a check of peace. They don't send a check of joy. They don't send a check of a fun time with your teenagers. That doesn't just come in the mail because you are an American. You got to work for this. This was such a spiritual lesson to me. And I watched this unfold. I watched what God has given this church. All of these lights. We don't owe a dime on them. They're paid for. God's provided those. The sound system. Lots and lots of money in this sound system. It's all paid for. We don't owe anything on it. We've been blessed with this sound system. Our microphones. All the lumber. The countless sheets of plywood and the concrete that's in here. The 4,000 square foot stage. It's all paid for. God has blessed this church. This church is full of talent that just amazes me. I shake my head and go, my goodness, look at the talent that was up here on this stage. That talent is among our members. And with all that is here and given to us and provided for and paid for, that production didn't just luckily happen. I heard it said to me Friday night at the show, and I heard it said to me after the show Saturday afternoon. No telling how many others thought this. But I had two different ladies come up to me. Oh, Pastor, you and this church are so lucky. Some of you don't know me, but I've got a very smart mouth. Being in the role of a pastor, I find a conflicting thing go on inside me. Of what I'm thinking and what I want to say right now and what my position allows me to say. What was in my head was, lucky nothing. We got hundreds of people that have worked their rear ends off to make what you just saw happen. Luck nothing. That's what was in my mouth. But what came out, you'll be proud of your pastor. What came out is, thank you, ma'am. We are very lucky. That's not what I wanted to say. Lucky nothing. Are you kidding me? Well, I wanted to go back and not stop talking for the next hours about what started happening here 10 or 15 years ago as we started sharing a vision of what we wanted to build, what we wanted to have, the stage we wanted to have. Y'all remember we talked about it 20 years ago, what we wanted to one day do. People started bringing money in and people started bringing money in and people started bringing money in. And over the last 10 years, tens of thousands of dollars, people have, lucky nothing, ma'am. Let me tell you about the people who have sacrificed in this church and given tens of thousands of dollars week in and week out and lucky nothing, ma'am. Let me tell you about the thousands of people who have given tens of thousands of dollars over the last 15 years to pay for everything up there. Lucky nothing, ma'am. Let me tell you about the countless hours that people have practiced. Do you have any idea how many hours it took to memorize those lines? My word. You introduce yourself to me and walk off and I can't remember your name. And we have people up here that remembered 2 hours worth of script. Are you kidding me? The hours and hours of practice and work and luck, nothing. Countless people working countless hours. And I've been overcome with life. Takes work if you're going to have anything good. God's given this church lights. God's given this church sound. God's given it. It's paid for. I don't know that you even care or want to know, but I got the floor and I'm going to tell it to you anyway. So, just FYI. Those lights, you know those scenes where the orange beam, did any of y'all just were wowed by the lights? The lights that came, yeah, you bet. The lights, those beams that come in, that doesn't just happen. That is a programmed thing that all of those lights are capable of doing hundreds of different things, but they have to be programmed to come together for this. And whether you could see it from where you were sitting or not, there's little pieces of tape all over this floor and so when you come out here and it's your part, you got to be standing right here, because when they push that button, whoosh, here's where the lights are all going to be and all those colors. That's pre-programmed. Well, to make that happen, depending upon the light scene, it can take 10, 15 minutes. It can take 30 minutes to program one light scene. Has everybody got that? You know how many light scenes there were last night? 165. If you're not very good at math, that's a lot. If you are, just multiply 15 minutes times 165, and you can find out the hours that Lindley and Sonny sat back at that light table back there. Oftentimes 12 straight hours, and I'd bring them a sandwich and something to drink down here. How much have you gotten done in 12 hours? We've gotten 20 programs. 165. Hours and hours and hours and hours of work to program those lights for a 2-hour production. For only a 2-hour production. And what I clearly saw in this over the last couple of months is the celebration of Jesus' birth as we enter into that time that we're in of this year. It's all about God's gift to us. Jesus came to bring us the gift of life and life more abundant. Now, for us to live in that gift, are you getting this? For us to experience what all the capability that has been given to us, you're going to have to drive out the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Jebusites, the Amorites. Here's what I saw so clear. This Christmas production did not luckily happen. The Hebrews didn't just luckily waltz in to the promised land, and people say, well, they were just born with a silver spoon in their mouth. And you and I are not going to luckily float into a blessed life. Life takes work. I was down here a few weeks ago. I sat right back there, and there wasn't a light on in this building. I had to find that with my light on my phone. This room is dark. When there's nothing on in here, it's dark. This is a dark, black hole. In this room, this is a dark, black hole with everything paid for, everything provided for us. I was surrounded by unbelievable scenes while I sat in a dark, black hole. It takes a lot of work, a lot of time, and a lot of effort to take what has been provided for us and transform this into scenes that are funny, that are enjoyable, that are memorable, that are inspirational, that are blessings. It takes hours of work to transform what has been given to us. The black hole, you've got to chase out the Canaanites, the Amorites, this black hole, you got to chase the darkness out, and you've got to make happen what's happened. You've got to make happen what's on this stage in your own life. or you're going to sit in a dark, black hole this Christmas season and wish for somebody to make you happy. Wish for somebody to instigate some fun for you. Here's what I'm telling you. It takes work to have friends. It takes work. You got to play golf when you don't really want to. You got to go to a party when you don't want to. You got to go out to eat when you don't want to. When your friend calls and said, will you go do this for me? If you say no, after a while, they'll quit calling you. It takes work to have a friend. It takes work to have a great home. It takes work to have a great marriage. It takes work. And here's what I saw. As Lindley and the cast would create a memorable scene, and it was hysterical. Some of those parts were just absolutely hysterical. The lines were hysterical. That was a created scene that caused you and I to laugh and have a fun response. Are you creating that scene with your teenager? Are you taking off and going to town and y'all going out to eat and you going shopping and are you creating a place for fun to happen? Are you creating a scene in your marriage? Are you and your wife, are y'all going out to eat and are you going to a place and are you doing something that can create fun and are you getting this? You don't sit in a dark black hole and wish for something to happen. You create scenes and you create scenarios that you want to happen. See, Lindley envisions all of this. Now, this is what's hard for me. I can clap for it when it happens, but I can't see it before it happens. But she can envision everything up here, and then she spends the time and the effort to create what she sees on this stage. And here's what's in our life. You're envisioning a fun life. You're envisioning a great marriage. You're envisioning having fun with your teenagers. You're envisioning fun family vacations. But you're not spending the effort to create that fun vacation and spending the effort, the time, and the money to make that scene come alive in your own life. Moses sent the spies in to check out the promised land. But you got to work for it. A lot of people want health, but they just don't want it bad enough to work for it. A lot of folks want to do well financially, but you got to say no to a lot of things to do well financially. It's interesting. He sent in 12 spies, and 10 of them came back and said, no, we can't do it. Can't do it. I don't know how many people have told me, Tim, I just can't stop eating carbs. I just can't stop eating sugar. I just love it too much. I just can't. See, health is not for me. Now, some of you can eat carbs and tons of sugar. It doesn't bother you. But in my scenario with my metabolism and what I do, I can't do that. Well, Tim, I try, but I got to have a cookie. I'm going to have some cookies now. I'm just going to have to. Well, I just can't save any money. I've tried. I just can't save any money. It's just too hard to save money. See, we want these things, but we're not willing to pay the price to create that scene for it to happen in your life. In this building with nobody in it, it's a dark black hole. My message today is you can't just sit there and let your life be a dark black hole while you wait on your life to get better. You got to roll up your sleeves and you got to go to work to create the life that you see and then you envision you having. And that's what was done right here. That's what was done right here. Someone had a creative idea and saw, here's what I want on that stage. And then they put forth the effort to make exactly what they want to have happen. And that's the message today. There's nothing lucky about it, ma'am. Our church isn't lucky. Our church is not lucky. What we got here is a dark black hole until people roll up their sleeves and make happen what you just saw happen. I'm just so inspired over the last couple of months. Just so inspired. Yeah, I was here trying to act inconspicuous because anytime Lindley would see me, it'd be, Dad, here's what I need. So I didn't want her to see me, but I was up here walking around. And she said, I wish we had a fireplace here. And she said, maybe we could staple, and she was talking to 2 or 3 folks, maybe we could just staple some paper over there and take a magic marker and we could just kind of draw in a fireplace in it. Or Dave and Barb could take their own money, their own tools, their own truck, and they drove to town and they bought lumber and they bought lights and they bought material and built not only a fireplace but a chimney that lit. Were y'all blessed by that fireplace? Was that not awesome? Awesome. See, you can throw up a little diddly what if you want to, or you can spend the hours and the time and the effort and the money to create in life the life that you want to live in. And when I came back and I saw what they had built with that fireplace, it moved me deeply because I said, God, I have visions for my own life. Help me, God. Give me the strength and give me the power. Don't let me be lazy and just lay around and wish for it to happen. Well, I wish I could do this. Well, Tim, you're lucky to have a wife like you. You're lucky to have kids like you. There was no luck to it. We got 2 great daughters. My wife beat the dog out of them 2 children. Wasn't no luck to it, I can tell you right now. God's kids, the Hebrews, yes, they were given the promised land. They were just born into it. They were Abraham's descendants. They were born with a silver spoon in their mouth. They were just given the promised land. Oh, y'all born with a silver spoon? They were. But they had to possess that promised land to live in it. Gifted. The ability to sing, the ability to sell, the ability to play the guitar, the ability to weld, the ability to do mechanic work, the ability to be a secretary, the ability to be an administrator. We have abilities. We've been given abilities in our life. But now for you to experience the abundant life, you will have to use what God has given you. And here's the point today. Life takes a lot of work. Turn with me to Ephesians chapter 6. A familiar passage that everybody knows. But what is interesting to me about this is this comes after Jesus came. This was written to the church after Jesus came. Jesus came to bring us life more abundant. We are celebrating the gift of God in life. Look at what God gave us. Look at what God has done for us. Now, let's read Ephesians 6:10. Be strong in the Lord. Put on His mighty power. Put on all of God's armor. What? I'd rather celebrate the free gift of God's love and mercy and grace. After we got the free gift of God's grace, now you put on God's armor. You put on God's armor so that you'll be able to stand firm against all the strategies of the devil. For we're not fighting. I thought I was just opening my Christmas present, the free gift of God and His love and His mercy and His grace. And isn't this a wonderful Christmas message? We're not fighting against flesh and blood enemies, but we're fighting against evil rulers and authorities, the unseen world, mighty powers in this dark world, evil spirits in heavenly places. Therefore, you better put on every piece of God's armor so you'll be able to resist the enemy in the time of evil. Who's he writing this to? He's writing this to people who have received God's grace, God's mercy, God's gift. He's writing this to people who have been given a blessed and a wonderful life, and he's telling you, you're going to have to stand firm to resist the enemy. After the battle, boy, you got it good then. After the battle's over, get you some iced tea, you got it made. No. After the battle's over, you're going to have to stand firm. After the battle's over, no iced tea. No, you're going to have to stand firm. After the battle's over, you're going to have to stand your ground, putting on the belt of truth, the body armor of God's righteousness, the shoes, put on the peace that comes from the good news so you'll be able to fully prepared. In addition to all of these things, hold up the shield of faith to stop the fiery arrows of the devil. Put on salvation as your helmet and take the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God. Pray in the Spirit at all times. Tim, y'all's church sure is lucky. Y'all be proud of me, I handled it. But my thoughts weren't. The title of this message today is, it ain't got nothing to do with luck. Life takes work. Life takes work. You know the ones that really don't like their church? You know, they're not getting fed, their needs are not being met. Those are the ones that are not doing nothing in the church. You have to work on having a good relationship in your church. You got to work on coming and getting fed. You got to work on worship, and you got to work on pushing in and touching God. I've been married 43 years. It takes a lot of work to be nice. Everything she says to me, I got a smart aleck remark in my mind. Everything. And not to say oh, yes, honey. That's not my first thought. Let me tell you, the potty seat has been a real issue. The location of the potty seat. Is it supposed to stay up or is it supposed to stay down? We've had that discussion many, many times. When she runs in there in a hurry and sits down and it's up, ooh, I can hear her scream all the way around the house. It takes work not to hear that scream. I got to remember, put that potty seat down. You better put that potty seat back down. You know, I'm working on my health. I eat sugar-free cookies. I drink sugar-free drinks. When I go out to eat and I get a steak, I don't get a steak and a loaded baked potato. I get a steak and steamed broccoli. I got to work on it. I want health. Okay, I got to make that happen for me. Christmas is only 17 days away. As we celebrate Christmas, to experience the reason for the season being Jesus' birth, it's the greatest thing in the whole wide world, the greatest celebration of the world. As we celebrate this event, it's going to take work to experience the reason for the season. Young people, in your mind today, you dream of one day getting married, one day having a mate, one day y'all are going to go camping and you're going to put your tent and you're going to sleep out under the stars and you're going to hold hands at night and you're going to kiss in the tent and laughing and the fire's going to be crackling outside and you just finished the day and you were swimming and the kids are all bedded down in your tent by your feet and that can happen. And that's out there and that's available. But you have no idea how much packing that you got to pack to take everything you're going to cook, sleep, eat, build a fire, everything you're going to need for the 3 days you're on this camping trip. You have no idea of the amount of work. Plus, there are no perfect people out there. So you will be married to an imperfect one. And while you are looking into that fire, you're going to have to fight your thoughts of wishing you could shove your mate in it. There's an endless list of a battle that you're going to have to fight to make this wonderful experience in the woods on the edge of a lake happen that you envision happening. This Christmas season, it's easy to be depressed on the couch and think about poor me and what I don't have. Just as it took a lot of work to put this Christmas production on, it's going to take a lot of work for you to be happy, for you to have fun, for you to be healthy, for you to be blessed. It takes work. It takes work to decorate your home, to cook, to have parties, to go to parties. We're in a spectator era of history. And on top of that, we're in an era that wants the government to pay for and provide every single thing that we want or think of for free. And just few want to dress out and go on the field and get in the game. Well, I hope it's fun. Well, I hope it's good. Well, I hope I'm blessed. Well, I sure want good to happen. I want to end today with telling you this. Without a doubt, not one but multiple times, after December 25th, the day after and the coming days, multiple times you will be asked by friends, by family, by neighbors, by people at the convenience store, you will be asked, did you have a good Christmas? You're going to be asked multiple times, did you have a good Christmas? Well, did you have a good Christmas? Did y'all have a good Christmas? I want you to know today that the answer to that question will be 100% up to you. 100% up to you. Your answer can be, no, my family didn't get to come in. I was lonely and miserable this Christmas. Or you can say, my family didn't get to come in. And I thought to myself, I'm not the only one that doesn't have family coming in. So I got on the phone, I started calling around, and I invited all of my other church friends to come over to my house that their families were not coming in. I got up on Christmas morning, I cooked a massive Christmas breakfast. We had a house full of people, and I'm telling you, thanks for asking, I had a fantastic Christmas day. Fantastic Christmas day. Here's what I'm telling you. You're going to be asked countless times, would y'all have a good Christmas? Oh, did y'all have a good Christmas? That answer is 100% up to you. Did you allow the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Jebusites, the Amorites? Did you allow them to remain in the land? Or did you roll up your sleeves and you drive them out and you experience fun and joy and happiness? 17 days away for a great Christmas celebration. You're going to have to work at it. For you to say, yes, I did, I had a great Christmas, it's going to take a lot of work. You're going to have to go to parties that you don't want to go to. You're going to have to host parties that you'd rather everybody stay out of your house. You're going to have to spend money that you wish you didn't have to spend. You're going to decorate when you'd rather not decorate. And you're going to be in a good mood when you're really in a bad mood. You're going to go shopping in places that you wish you weren't shopping in. You're going to go and do things that you wish you weren't going and doing. Here's what I'm telling you. All of the hours that our actors spent by themselves going over and over those lines, all of the amount of time in the work, down here several nights till midnight working on this play. I wish they weren't doing that. I wish they was at home right now. I wish I was somewhere else. But they were willing to do what they did for us to experience what we experienced. I want you to know today, life takes work. Y'all stand with me. Lord, today we're just grateful for the gift of life. As we enter into our celebration of this Christmas season, we're grateful to you for the gift of life. But Lord, today we're not going to be those that just sit around on a couch and feel sorry for ourselves. We're going to be those that drive out the dark holes in our life, and we're going to turn the lights on our stage on. God, we're going to create scenes that are fun, that are enjoyable, that are memorable. Lord, in our homes, our families, and our personal lives, we're going to create scenes that are very moving and inspirational. We're going to create moments in our day that have an inspirational move to them. God, this Christmas season, we celebrate you. In Jesus' name, amen.
You have been listening to the CMC Podcast. For more information about CMC, our different conferences, Christian school, college internship, resources, and more, go to cmchurch.com.